started. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our core stability session today. Thank you for joining us. I had a request for a Lizzo playlist.
Information.
So we've got one going.
Switch A, I
We're going
compare.
to start on the ground, on our back.
Page 1 of 2. Mute my audio. Audio now. The host has muted you. The meeting will not hear.
All right, we're gonna lie on our backs, feet flat to the floor, knees to the ceiling, and you're gonna have your arms by your sides, palms face down outside the hips, curl up, chin to chest so that your shoulder blades hover off the ground, and you're gonna pump your arms up and down a couple inches at a time, and you're gonna breathe. Think about with those shoulder blades hovering off the ground, engaging through the upper abs with those pumps of the arms stay straight. They just lift and lower a few inches outside the hips. That's adding instability through the core. If you'd like to take it up a notch and activate through the lower abs a little bit more, you can lift your feet off the ground, keeping your knees bent, shins parallel to the ceiling. And if you want to take it even further, you can extend your legs out to a diagonal, nice and straight. If you take either of those options, make sure your low back is glued to the ground to protect the low back and engage the low abs. Keep breathing here. And in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rest your head. Nice job. We're going to take it to sit-ups, roll-ups, or crunches. You can choose whichever is best for you. For crunches, you can start feet flat to the floor, knees to the ceiling, hands behind head, elbows wide, and you curl up and release. So your shoulder blades hover off the ground and then they lower back down. And if you'd like to take it to a sit-up, you'll reach your hands overhead to the ceiling and then roll all the way up to a seated position, shoulders stacked over hips, arms reach forward, and then roll all the way back. Or a roll-up, which is the same as a sit-up, but your legs are out long instead of planting flat on the floor. So just warming up through the core. As we go through all the exercises today, please feel free to modify and adjust anything that you need. Make it your own. That's the beauty of being in your own space. You can change it up however you need. And from here, we're going to go ahead and come back down to our backs. Feet flat to the floor if they aren't already, knees to the ceiling, and go ahead and take your hands and plant them outside the hips. Push the palms down into the ground. We're going to take it to single leg circles. So your right knee is going to pull to your chest, and then you're going to extend your right leg straight to the ceiling with a pointed toe, and you're going to draw circles counterclockwise to start. And when you draw circles with that right leg, with that right toe, you can choose how big they are and how low or high they go. So the smaller and the higher your circle are, the more stability you have to work with. So play with those until you find your challenge. How you know you've met your challenge is you want to keep your low back glued to the ground the entire time. You want your torso to be completely still. We're going to reverse directions of our circles now. So now we're going to go clockwise. And if your torso is still, your leg is straight and your low back is glued, you can play with making it a little bit bigger, a little bit lower. Keep breathing. And in 3, 2, 1, bend your right knee. We're going to reset that right foot flat to the floor and we're going to switch to the left side. Left knee pulls to your chest and then extend your left leg straight to the ceiling with a pointed toe. Draw circles. We'll go clockwise first this side. And you, again, are choosing the size and the height of your circle to fit your needs best. Finding what's going to challenge you while keeping your form correct is where you're going to find that strength. We're working on hip mobility. We're looking at thigh strength, stretching through the back of the leg, core stability, and reverse your circles. Now counterclockwise. Breathe as you go through. Really letting that hip joint open up. And in 3, 2, 1, bend your left knee and plant your foot flat to the floor. We're going to take it to single leg stretch. So you're going to curl up chin to chest and hug your right knee in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shin and extend your left leg straight to hover, point your toe. And then we switch. Left knee comes in, our right leg extends. Switch and switch. Shoulder blades hover. You've got it. So when you extend your leg to hover, you can either hover it, or if it feels better to have a soft bend in the knee and to plant your foot down, you can do that too. The goal is to have your shoulder blades hovering here, frozen in time as the legs switch. And in 3, 2, 1, hug both knees to your chest and rest your head for a brief moment if you need to give those upper abs a little bit of a refresh. And then you'll come back up, hugging yourself into a nice tight ball, shoulder blades hovering off the ground. Now we're gonna go into double leg stretch. Your legs are both gonna extend away from the torso at a diagonal, and then your arms are gonna circle out to the sides and behind the head, behind the shoulders, and then you hug everything back in. So legs and arms circle out to the sides, reach away from the torso, and then come back in. So legs extend away, arms circle, hug everything back in, keeping the shoulder blades high, keeping the low back glued. And in 3, 2, 1, reset. Hug your knees into your chest, set your head down for a brief moment to reset. Take your feet and bring them flat to the floor, knees to the ceiling. We're going to take it to single straight leg stretch next. So bend your right knee into your chest and then send that right leg straight to the ceiling. And you're going to curl up chin to chest once again so those shoulder blades hover. And you take your hands and bring them up as high as you can on your right leg towards your toes, trying to keep a straight right leg. Option to extend your left leg long to hover. And then you switch. Right leg down, left leg up. Your hands stay up the entire time, and they just switch from holding on to the right leg to holding on to the left leg as high as you can, keeping those shoulder blades high. And again, think about the upper body being frozen in time. Those shoulder blades are frozen, they're staying at the same height as the legs switch. So the goal here is to get those upper abs to work, the legs moving. It's also working more parts of the ab wall. It's also a distraction from those upper abs. Stretching through the back of the leg as it comes up. And then 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees into your chest. Rest your head. Nice job. We're going to move just to low abs here. Feet are flat to the floor, knees to the ceiling. Head rested, hands pushed down into the ground outside the hips. And then you're going to send both legs to the ceiling. This time I want you to glue your legs together like one long line. Point your toes. Squeeze those inner thighs in so that they're touching. And lower your legs for 3 counts away from you, and then lift them back up to the ceiling for 1. So a nice slow lower as the legs stay squeezing, and a nice quick lift. Now we're working low abs here. When we're working low abs or when the legs are involved, we always want our low back pulled down towards the ground. That's going to activate through the low abs, and it's going to protect the low back from injury through the exercise. Think about your torso as a cinder block on the ground. If your low back starts to peel off the ground, you just make your movement a little bit smaller until you find your sweet spot, and that's where you work. That's where you'll find the strength. And in 3, 2, 1, bend your knees and then send your feet flat to the floor. We are going to take it to our crisscross or bicycle crunches. So feet are flat, knees to the ceiling, hands go behind head, elbows wide. And you're going to crunch, but as you crunch, you're going to twist slightly to the left as you pull your left knee towards your chest, and then you reset, crunch to the right as your right knee pulls towards your chest, and switch and switch. Keep your elbows wide to increase the work in the upper abs, but also to protect the neck without pushing or pulling it. As you go through, you have the option to extend the leg long to hover after it comes into the chest. So knee to chest extends long to hover, knee to chest extends long to hover, or you can stick with that planting it back down. You've got it. Try to keep both shoulder blades lifted off the ground. Even when you twist, one of the shoulder blades will want to dig in. Make the twist a little bit smaller to prevent that digging in. And in 3, 2, 1, rest. Nice job, everybody. Woo. Talk about a spicy warm-up. Okay, now is your time to get a drink of water and reset. We're going to come to standing for our balance set. Okay, I just got my drink. So for our balance set, we're going to start with squats. So feet hip width apart, toes forward, and your hands can be wherever works for you. I like to have mine in a prayer. You can have yours on your hips if that works for you. And you just push your hips back, sink them down towards knee height, and then come all the way up to standing. Try to take these slow and intentionally, okay? As you squat, think about pushing your hips back and then sinking them down. That's going to keep the knees tracked over the ankles and keep the work in the low body muscles and out of the knees. If the knees end up tracking forward over the ankles, that's where the knees start to put some of the work into the joint, and we want to use those muscles to our advantage. As you push your hips back, your upper body will hinge forward slightly. That's natural. Pull your belly button into your spine to keep the core engaged, and that's once again protecting the lower back. You got it. Taking it really slow. You might be taking it slow. Think to yourself, can I take this just a little bit slower? Feel the burn. When you're ready, come to standing, and I want you to stabilize through your left leg. So shift your weight to your left leg, take a soft bend in your left knee, and then with your right leg, I want you to take an option as I go through. First option, right heel lifts off the ground, right toe stays on the ground. Second option, foot hovers over the ground, so right foot is not touching the ground at all. Third option is anywhere between that and holding a high knee and staying still, breathing through it. So you choose what's going to be your stop today. We've got lots of options. Heel up, foot up, or knee up. Breathing as you go through. Now I'm going to add a extra option. Take your right toes, tap behind you, and then bring to a high knee once again, or wherever you were at. So toes tap behind you, reset to your first option. So maybe you reset to tapping your toe underneath the hip, tapping the toe behind you. Maybe you reset to tap the toe behind you and then hover your foot under the hip, or maybe you tap the toe behind you and come to a high knee. And next option, wherever you're at, you're going to trace a letter or braille, whatever you want it to be is fine with me, of your name. So I would trace the letter T, A, R, A with my toe. If you have your toes on the ground for balance and your heel is lifted, trace it with your heel. If you're using braille dots, you can trace where the braille dots would be with your toes or your heel. Maybe you start writing a poem. Maybe you use the word flower or rainbow or rain, because that's what we're getting here today. And you are just tracing, and with every letter that you're tracing, you are creating instability. Soft bend through your left knee helps activate the stabilizer muscles. You'll feel them working. Let yourself wobble and shake. And in 3, 2, 1. Both feet come back down to the ground, hip width apart, and you're going to take it to a forward fold just to release. So fold yourself in half, hands come towards the toes, hips stay high, head is low. And you're breathing. And when you're ready, slowly roll up back to the top. Now we're going to take it to the other side, starting with those slow squats. So feet can be hip width, shoulder width apart, toes forward, and you slow squat. As you slow squat, take it slow. Push those hips back, sink them down, and then slowly come right back up. Keep those knees tracked over the ankles. Keep the belly button pulled sharply into the spine. You got it. And in 3, 2, 1, come to standing. We're going to take it to that single leg balance. So stabilize through your right leg, soft bend in your right knee. And you have options. You either lift your left heel off the ground, lift your left foot off the ground to hover, or take it to a high knee and just hold. Breathe here. Let yourself wobble and shake. Maybe you switch between some options to find what's going to challenge you. Wiggle wobbling everywhere. The wiggle and wobble is good. That means we're strengthening and we're working on challenging ourselves, that's where we find the change. Next option, add backward toe taps. Left toes tap back and then they reset to wherever you were at. So whether that's your toe underneath the hip with your heel lifted, whether that's the foot hovering underneath the hip, or whether that's anywhere between that and a high knee. You got it. Using whatever you have for support. Maybe you hold on to something with one finger or two fingers. Maybe you have your hands on your hips. Maybe they're in a prayer. Maybe they're in a T. Whatever's working for you. And now your next option is to write your name with your toes, if they're lifted, or if your toes are touching the ground with your heel. Maybe you paint a pretty picture with your imaginary toe paintbrushes. Maybe you write a joke. Just tracing. I don't know why, but a snowman is coming to my mind, so that's what's happening for me. And when you're ready, send that left foot back down. We take it to our forward fold. Fold yourself in half. Feet hip width apart, parallel. Arms reach down towards the ground. Let your arms hang heavy. Hips up, head low. And in 3, 2, 1. Come on back up to standing. I'm going to get a drink and we're going to meet on the floor on our backs. So on the floor, we'll start with corkscrew. So back and head are rested. Feet are flat to the floor to start, knees to the ceiling. And then I want you to send both legs straight up to the ceiling. Pull your legs together. Push your palms down into the ground outside the hips. And then draw circles with those legs. So we started this single leg circles in the warm-up. We're just building off of it. So now our legs are together. We're alternating the direction of our circle every time we finish it. So when you finish your circle, take it in the other direction. You're breathing as you go through. You're pushing your low back down into the ground. Squeeze through the inner thighs. Get bonus inner thigh work here. This is another one of those ones where we're not losing our legs. We're using our legs. So we're focused on the low abs, pushing the belly button down towards the ground. The low abs are those abs where the zipper of your pants would be. Those are the ones we're activating with these leg circles with this corkscrew. And in 3, 2, 1, bend your knees into your chest, send your feet flat to the floor. We take it to our dead bugs. So take your arms and reach them to the ceiling. Fingertips reach up, arms stacked directly over the shoulders. Bend your knees so that your knees are stacked over the hips and your shins are parallel to the ceiling. And from here, your opposite arm and leg are going to extend away from the body. So right leg reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Come back up through center, switch sides. Left arm, right, or left leg, right arm, and switch. So as you're doing your dead bugs, think about gluing your torso all the way down to the ground like a cinder block, and let the movement of the body activate the core. Feel the ab wall embrace with every time you extend away from the body. If both arms or opposite arm, opposite leg is too much, switch and do one limb at a time. That's fine. When you bring your knee back in over the hip, think about having it over the hip. Our bodies are automatically going to want our knees to come closer to our chest. It's going to give a rest to the abs. But if you keep your knee stacked over your hip, it keeps the work active the entire time. And then 3, 2, 1. Send your feet flat to the floor. Bring your hands down by your sides. Now we're going to do some oblique work with our low ab or with our legs. So you can take your hand anywhere between outside the hip and outside the shoulder. I kind of like to put it somewhere in the middle and press your palms down into the ground. From here, lift your feet off the ground so that the shins are parallel to the ceiling. The knees are stacked over the hips once again. And from here, you're going to let your knees fall right and left. So that's maybe why you don't want your hand right outside your hip. But outside the shoulder can be a little bit of abrasive, so find the happy medium for you. And you're gonna let your knees fall left and right. Your hip can peel off the ground, but I want your shoulder blades to stay glued to the ground. So actively push down through the shoulder blades as the knees fall right and left. Your obliques are doing the work to bring your knees back through center. You got it. My knees don't end up touching the side that they're leaning to because I don't have that much mobility. If yours do, that's fine. And in 3, 2, 1, set those feet flat to the floor. What do you say we stretch out those hip flexors? So we're going to start with our feet flat to the floor, knees to the ceiling. Now you can press those palms outside the hips. Once again, we're going to take it to our bridges. So you're going to squeeze your glutes to lift your hips off the ground. And then you're going to lower those glutes right back down and repeat. So when your hips lift, your hips low and mid back lift, but the shoulder blades and the head stay planted. And you just start squeezing through the glutes to initiate the movement. The tailbone lifts towards the ceiling, and then you slowly lower back down. Think one vertebrae coming back down to touch the ground at a time. Tailbone's first to lift, last to touch the ground. Now, when you're in the up position of your bridge, you're getting a nice stretch through the tops of the thighs and the hip flexors right in front of the hips. And then you're also getting that squeeze through the hamstrings and the glutes. So one side stretches, one side squeezes. That's how all of our exercises and stretches work in the body. The opposite muscle contracts, and the one that's on the other side of that stretches and releases. Now I'm going to add an optional challenge here. If you'd like more spice for those hamstrings, those glutes, step your feet further away from you. And then flex your feet so heels are on the ground, toes are lifted. Squeeze the glutes to lift the hips up and then lower them back down. You've got it. Breathe as you go through. Low body on fire. And in 3, 2, 1, leave those hips down on the ground. Now we're going to take it to upside down tabletop toe tap. So your upper body still stays rested. You're going to have your knees bent. Your knees are stacked over the hips. Your shins are parallel to the ceiling. Glue your low back to the ground. Tap your right toe on the ground, lift it up, tap your left toe on the ground, lift it up, and keep switching. Okay, this is another one of those ones where your knees are going to want to pull into your chest. Stop the knee right over the hip. Now, you can add challenge here by tapping your toe further away from the body, further forward, and then resetting. Or you can tap it straight down and reset. So, the further away you tap, the more stability the body's going to need. This is another low ab exercise. So you want the low back pushing down towards the ground, pulling your belly button down so that you can activate through those stubborn abs. Stubborn low abs. And in 3, 2, 1, keep those knees bent, shins parallel to the ceiling. We're going to take it to a crunch next. Standard upper body crunch. Hands behind head, elbows wide. You're going to crunch, release, crunch, release. Shoulder blades lift off the ground, lower, lift off the ground, lower. With your hands behind your head, elbows wide, you're getting more work through the upper abs because some of your body weight is now behind them. And then you're taking just a light touch behind the neck to not strain, push, or pull it. If shoulder mobility is something that's bothering you with hands behind head, elbows wide, you can take your hands across your chest, no big deal. If having your knees hover still is a lot on those hip flexors, you can take your feet flat to the floor. Crunch and release. And in 3, 2, 1, rest your feet, rest your head. We're going to take it to some more obliques next. So We're going to send our right leg to the ceiling. Our left foot stays flat to the floor. You're going to take your right hand behind your head with your elbow wide, and your left hand is going to reach towards your right toes. And you're going to crunch, release, crunch, release. If, again, that right hand behind head, elbow wide doesn't feel great, take your right hand across your chest. Left hand still reaching towards that right toe. So now you're off center, which is going to activate through the obliques. And because we're still doing that crunch with our upper body, upper abs are still involved. Your right shoulder blade is going to want to push into the ground as you reach towards the right toe with every crunch. Try to reduce the twist to the right until you can keep that right shoulder blade up. Always an option to take that right foot flat to the floor if you need. Just maintain that twist, that offset to the right. In 3, 2, 1, rest. Right foot goes down, left leg goes up. Left hand behind head, elbow wide. Right hand reaches towards the left foot. Crunch, release, crunch, release. So you always have the option. Left hand across the chest. Left foot down. You are doing oblique crunches here. So you have the upper abs coming off the ground. Obliques offset as you reach to the left. Breathe. Exhale, reach. Inhale to reset. And in 3, 2, 1, rest your head. Take a deep breath. And we are going to take it so that our both legs are up this time. And both hands can reach to the right foot, crunch, reach to the left foot, crunch. Always the option, hands behind head or hands across the chest. When you reach right, you're twisting slightly to the right. When you reach left, you're reaching slightly to the left. So you have that option. Whatever option you take, make sure you're having that slight twist through the obliques. Those are the target. And in 3, 2, 1, send those feet down to the ground. Nice job. Rest your head. Take your knees and pull them into your chest. Your hands can push down into the ground outside the hips. And then I want your right leg to go to the ceiling, your left leg to go long to hover off the ground, and then pull your knees back to your chest and switch. Left leg to the ceiling, right leg hovers off the ground, and switch. As you go through, think about lengthening through that leg that's reaching up and through the leg that's extending long. Low back pushing down into the ground. Feel that nice stretch through the leg that's reaching up. You've got it. Breathe. And in 3, 2, 1, I want you to send both legs up to the ceiling now, and we're going to do a lower ab crunch. So push your palms down into the ground outside your hips. Legs are both to the ceiling. They are not glued together at this time. Toes pointed, and then you're going to think about pushing your tailbone towards the ceiling and then releasing. So it's a very tiny movement. Tailbone lifts and lowers. So as your tailbone pulls towards the ceiling, your legs go up maybe an inch, maybe a centimeter, and then they release and come down. Very small movement. As the tailbone pushes up, you feel the belly button pull down, and that's going to get you that low ab contraction. Push through your palms for extra stability, and that's going to also help activate the rest of the core. And in 3, 2, 1, rest. Nice job. Bring those feet back down to the ground. I'm going to get a drink, and we're going to start working on the posterior chain, the backside of the body. So we'll get into tabletop, but I'm going to get a drink before I get there. All right. So for tabletop, we're going to start with our bird dog. So your hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. Your knees are going to be underneath your hips. Your head is in line with your spine. Your back is flat. And your feet are relaxed behind you. Take your right arm and reach it forward at shoulder height as you extend your left leg behind you at hip height. Then come back through center and we switch sides. Left arm reaches forward at shoulder height, right leg reaches back at hip height, and then reset through center. You got it. Keep your head in line with your spine. Your head is going to want to drop here. We won't let it. Keep your back flat. Your belly button stays pulled into your spine the entire time because that's going to engage the core and prevent the low back from taking the work out of the core. When your leg extends behind you, that's when your low back is going to want to sink down. That's why we extend our leg at hip height and not higher. The leg is at hip height, the low back is less likely to cave down. Core pulls in nice and strong. Breathing as you go. If opposite arm and opposite leg aren't working for you, always the option to take one limb at a time. Hand, leg, leg. You've got it. And we're gonna have the option to add a bird dog crunch. So next time your right arm is forward, left leg back, keep it flat back. Take your right elbow and left knee and bring them towards each other underneath the belly button. They don't have to touch. And then extend them back out long. Reset, switch sides. Left arm, right leg extend long. Elbow and knee pull towards each other underneath the belly button. They extend. Once again, reset. Keep your head in line with your spine. Catch yourself if it's sinking. Pull your belly button into your spine. Imagine you are balancing, I don't know, buffalo wings on your back. I don't even eat buffalo wings, but that's the first thing that came to my mind today. A snowman and chicken wings. So imagine you're balancing something on your back and you do not want it to tip off. That's how still you want your back to be. And in 3, 2, 1, rest. Nice job. We are going to take it to the bellies now. Lay down, front side of your body down, belly button down. And take your hands outside your hips. Now, your hands are going to be outside your hips. You're going to roll your shoulder blades down and back. You're going to press your hip bones into the ground and pull your belly button up towards your spine. That's going to give you all the activation you need. Press the tops of your feet down into the ground with pointed toes. You're going to lift your chest off the ground just a couple inches, which is going to lift your shoulders and bring your arms in at hip height. And then you're going to lower back down. So it's just the upper body lifting. Chest and upper body lift. And then lower. When you lift, you're squeezing through the shoulder blades. You roll the shoulders down and back away from the ears. This is helping strengthen those muscles to undo our little hunched posture when we're sitting all day. It's helping with that. Strengthening the back side of the body. Now, we're going to have the option to lift the legs at the same time as you lift the chest. So chest and legs lift and lower. Chest and legs lift and lower. And we're going to continue building on. So next time you're in your lift, palms are going to face the hips and then palms face away from the hips. And then you reset, lower back down. Lift, palms face the hips, palms face away from the hips, reset, lower. So now we added shoulder mobility in to this movement. When you're lifting, it only has to be a couple inches. Next option I'm adding on is when you lift, palms face you, palms face away, and then palms can face you again, and then circle out to the sides, and then up in front of, or over the shoulders. They're going forward. And then back out by the hips. Reach out and forward, and then back out by the hips. And then you'll reset. Lift, do your shoulder mobility. Reach out to the sides, forward, and back once again. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release that. Take your forearms and stack one on top of the other just to give your head somewhere to rest. And we're going to windshield wiper. So I like to stack my right palm on top of my left and my elbows point out to each side, and that's just making myself a little pillow for my forehead. Pull your heels towards your bottom, knees are bent, and then let your feet, your shins fall left, come through center, let them fall right. Now as they fall right and left, it's okay if your hip wants to peel off the ground, loosening up any tension through the low back. And through the hip joint as well. Your shins are the windshield wipers. The windshield wiper-like movement. And when you're ready, don't get too excited. We're going to get into a plank. So go ahead, and I'm going to get into a forearm plank, and that's what I'm going to describe. If you like a different variation better, feel free to take that variation. So I'm going to take my elbows underneath my shoulders. My forearms are going to reach forward ahead of the elbows, palms face down, fingertips forward. And then I'm going to curl my toes under and then lift my torso off the ground. So then I have a straight line from head to heels. My shoulders through my heels hovering off the ground. My head stays in line with my spine. My hips are at shoulder height so that they're not dipped up towards the ceiling and they're not dipped low towards the ground. And having those hips and shoulders at the same height is going to help engage through the ab wall, protect the low back and the shoulders. You're breathing here. If you feel a lot of pressure through the shoulders, your hips might be too high. If you feel pressure through the low back, your hips might be too low. We've been doing this for a really long time, so bear with me. Breathe, reset if you need. And in 3, 2, 1, release. Nice job. Now we're going to take it into our glute work. I'm going to get a drink of water. And let's do some clamshells for our glutes today. So I'm going to lay left side down, right side up. So lay with your left hip down, right hip up. And then your your left arm is going to be used to support you in some way. 3 of those ways are using your left arm as a pillow, resting your head in the palm of your left hand, or having your left elbow bent underneath the left shoulder, forearm forward, palm faces down. Now from here, pull your knees in towards your chest. Your right knee should be stacked on top of your left because you started on the left side of your body. So your right hip is towards the ceiling. Your left hand, your right hand can either plant in front of your rib cage on the ground, or it can go on your right hip. On the rib cage, in front of the rib cage is more support. On the hip is to hold you accountable to make sure you're doing the exercise correctly. They both have benefits. From here, you're going to keep your feet connected, and you're going to lift your right knee towards the ceiling and then stack it right on top of the left. Right knee lifts, lowers, right knee lifts, lowers. When your right knee lifts, it does not have to be a huge movement. It can be just a few inches. How you find your range is your right hip should not open or fall backward as your knee lifts. So if your hand is on your hip, you'll feel that. You want the hip to stay completely stacked over the left as the right knee lifts and lowers. The side glutes we're working. The further your knees are pulled towards your chest, the more burn you're going to feel. Now, as you're doing this movement, think about actively pulling your rib cage away from the floor. Now, depending on which way you set up, your rib cage might be on the ground no matter what, but you're going to actively think about pulling it away from the floor. That's going to activate the obliques and add stability to the body. And in 3, 2, 1, rest that right knee on top of the left knee. And now we're going to lift the right foot instead. So keep the knees glued, right foot lifts and then stacks right over the left. So the knees stay stacked, the foot and the shin lift and lower back to stack. You've got it. And in 3, 2, 1, we take it every other. Knees up together, toes apart, toes together, knees apart. So knees and feet, feet and knees. One's together, one's not. So you're getting internal and external rotation of the hip.
Say that again, Tara.
Knees together, feet apart, feet together, knees apart. You're switching between the two.
So are you lifting?
So when your knees are together, your feet are apart, so the right foot is lifted just a little bit, and then you switch. The feet come back together to touch, and then the knee lifts.
Oh.
An internal and external rotation of the hip.
Well, I'm glad I asked because I've been doing it wrong forever.
Glad you asked too. We're going to move on in just a second. We're going to now extend, this is new, extend your right leg long so that it's at hip height, reaching away from the body in line with the shoulders and the spine. Then you're going to keep that leg straight at hip height, and then you're going to bring that leg forward so that the thigh stacks over the left thigh, and then you're going to extend it long back in line with the spine. So leg sweeps forward, goes back in line with the spine. Leg hovers at hip height, leg is straight the whole time. So right leg sweeps back, in line with the spine, forward, ahead of the hip. Breathing as you go. Next time your leg is forward, hold it there and take tiny little lifts. Lift the leg a centimeter, lower, lift it a centimeter, and lower. This is where we finish this side. And 3, 2, 1. Let your right leg fall down to the ground, and we're going to switch. So now you're going to lay on your right side, right hip down, left hip up, and you're going to hug your knees to your chest. You can use your right arm as a pillow. You can rest your head in the palm of your right hand, or you can prop yourself up. So right elbow underneath right shoulder, pressing down through the palm. Take your left hand, either put it on your left hip or plant it in front of the torso. From here, we're going to lift the knee. So feet stay attached. Left knee lifts, lowers. Left knee lifts, lowers. When you're doing this movement, the knee does not have to lift very high, just a few inches. And you'll know your range if you're paying attention to that left hip. Keep the left hip stacked over the right. If the left hip drops back as the left knee lifts, you've gone too far. Find your range. Outer glutes, we're working hard here. You're breathing. Think about pulling the rib cage up and away from the floor. Again, depending on what position you chose to start in, it might stay on the floor, but that's going to give you the activation you need to get the core fired up and support the body through the movement. You've got it. Keep breathing through it. And we're going to switch to the knees stay together and the toe lifts. So the knees stay stacked, the left foot lifts and lowers. Left foot lifts and lowers. Knees and thighs stay touching. The foot and the shin lift and lower. Internal rotation of the hip. And we're going to make this every other. So knees together, feet apart. Feet together, knees apart. So one of them is touching, and then they switch. So when the knees are together, the toe is lifted, or the foot is lifted. When the feet are together, the knee is lifted. Internal and external rotation of the hip. Breathing through it. You've got it. And next exercise, we extend our left leg long at hip height. Now it's in line with the spine. Foot to knee to hip to spine to shoulders to head, okay? And then with that toe pointed, you extend it forward in front of the hip and then bring it back in line with the spine. So leg stays at hip height the entire time. Leg stays straight. It sweeps back and then goes forward. We love to just add the spice on as we go, don't we? Get spicier and spicier with every exercise. And next time your leg is forward, keep it straight and add little lifts. A centimeter, lift a centimeter, release, lift a centimeter, release. So spicy. And in 3, 2, 1, let your left foot come back down. Nice job, everybody. And that takes us to the end of our strengthening session. We transition to our stretch. All right, I'm gonna get a drink of water. And for our stretch, as always, feel free to follow along with me or do what feels best in your body. All right, so that drink is down. We're gonna start in our cat-cow. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips in your tabletop position. Head is in line with your spine. Your belly button is pulled into your spine. And you take a couple deep breaths here. We're gonna sync our movement with our breath. So on your next exhale, you'll tuck your chin to your chest. You'll push through your palms. You'll bring your spine towards the ceiling, trying to nice round it out. And then when you need to inhale, you will dip your belly low, roll your shoulders down and back, nose forward, chest opens, and go through these at your own pace. So your cat is when your spine is up, you're pressing through the palms, and your cow is when your belly low, nose forward. And you're exhaling for cat. Think about the spine up. You're pressing all the air out of your belly. And then you're inhaling for cow. The belly is low, ready to fill up with air. Maybe you add wiggles where wiggles feel good, or maybe you shift your weight forward or back. And when you're ready, flatten out that back. We're going to transition to our pike position. Curl your toes under, send your hips to the ceiling. Push your heels down towards the ground. Pull your chest towards your knees. Maybe a soft bend in your knees if that feels good. Maybe the legs are straight. Stretching out through the back side of the body. And when you're ready, those knees can come softly back down to the ground and you lie on your back. From your back, you pull your right knee into your chest. Your left leg can extend long on the ground, or you can plant your left foot flat if that feels best for you. As your knees to your chest, you can have the option to go through ankle circles if that feels good to you. On your next exhale, pull your right knee more towards your right shoulder to open up through the inner thigh hip a little bit more. And when you're ready, you can take it to your twist. The left hand comes to the outside of the right knee, guides the right knee up and over towards the left side of the body. The right hip peels off the ground. The nose points right. The right arm reaches long to a T outside the right shoulder. And you have yourself a spine twist, glute stretch, shoulder and chest opener. The more you pull that right knee towards the left shoulder, the more of a glute stretch you'll feel. Keep your right shoulder grounded. And when you're ready, come back through center, hug your knees to your chest, give yourself a little rock side to side. And we're going to switch sides. So you hug your left knee to your chest, your right leg can either extend long or plant flat on the floor. And then if you'd like to add ankle circles through this left ankle, you can. On your next exhale, guide that left knee towards the left shoulder just a little bit more to open up through the inner thigh and hip. And when you're ready, you can take it to your twist. The right hand will come to the outside of the left knee, guide the left knee up and over towards the right side of the body. The nose will point left, the left arm will reach along outside the left shoulder. Spine twist, glute stretch, shoulder and chest opener. Keep the left shoulder grounded. Maybe you pull the left knee towards the right shoulder for a deeper stretch through the glute. And when you're ready, you can untwist, hug both knees to your chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side to reset the spine. And we'll come to a seated position, rock and roll up so that your shoulders are stacked over your hips, legs extended long in front of you. We're setting up for our seated forward fold. Arms start long by your sides. With a nice big inhale, you reach your arms out to the sides and up over the head. And as you exhale, you hinge forward, reach for your toes. Maybe you land on your toes, maybe you land on your shins or your knees. Wherever you're at, just embrace it. And think about, with every inhale you take, you're creating space. And with every exhale, you're melting into that space, giving the muscles permission to let go, to release. Let your shoulder blades separate from each other. Let them rock away from the ears. To let that stretch come all the way up through the spine. And when you're ready, you can come out of that and come into your butterfly. So the bottoms of your feet will come together to touch in front of your hips, which means your knees will bend out to each side. You'll hinge forward from the waist, and you'll maybe let your knees fall further to the sides. Maybe let your forearms rest on your inner thighs, not forcing anything. Maybe you release that and you extend your legs out long, this time wider than the hips, and take it to a wide-legged forward fold. Reach your hands into the space in front of you, walk them forward, hinging forward at the waist. Let your shoulders relax away from your ears as you reach forward energetically with the fingertips. And release. And then we'll come back to all fours, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips for our child's pose rest position. So you're in your tabletop, but then you take your knees just a little bit wider than the hips, and then your big toes come together to touch behind you. And then you sink your bottom back towards your heels as you walk your hands forward on the ground, bringing your chest and forehead towards the ground if not touching. And then you pull back with your tailbone as you push forward or pull forward with the fingertips to elongate through the spine. The more you press down and forward with those fingertips, the more you'll feel a stretch through the upper body. Inner thighs and hips opening with those knees wide. Also creates space for you to sink lower. Again, a couple more deep breaths for yourself.